We got Sean in New Jersey. How are you?
Hey there, guys. Good evening.
How you doing?
All right. First off, I've got an observation of mine, which I find kind of interesting, which will lead into a question for you.
Okay.
I find it kind of funny and ironic that a lot of fundamentalist, creationist Christians who deny evolution almost basically have to profess that they're all fallen sinners, that they're these base and filthy creatures that deserve eternal punishment in hell. But as soon as you say that they're descended from primates, don't you call me a monkey?
Yeah.
That's way too much of an insult for
Yeah.
me. Say that I deserve to go to hell, say that I'm a dirty sinner, but don't say that we share a common ancestor with apes. That's just going too far.
Yes, it's one of life's many little ironies that you encounter.
But going into that, as far as Christianity's concept of sinners and what we deserve and how low we all are, I was wondering if you think that might point towards a non-human authorship. If religion and Christianity is really just a human construct, then why would we portray ourselves as so low and so worthy of damnation, so filthy? Wouldn't we build ourselves up as great?
No. Because that doesn't benefit the religion. Building individuals up as great benefits the individual. Tearing individuals down and saying that the religion is what can save you, that's what benefits the religion.
Well, so then does that... A lot of people always say that a big function of religion is to exhibit control over lower over people who believe it. It's a great way for kings to rule over people, and it's a great way to control people.
Yeah, but it doesn't control people in like the George Orwell 1984 sense. It doesn't do it overtly. It does it through this careful sort of manipulation of a person's own attitudes, right? Makes them do the work, right? What Christianity does through all of this talk about sin and original sin and how fallen we are, but don't worry because God loves you and He sent Jesus, etc., etc., etc. This is all about tearing down the self-esteem of the individual in order to reconstruct it in such a way that the religion is now at the center of that self-esteem.
Yeah, extreme fundamentalist Christians in particular, but fundamentalists who have this type of view, they are the battered wives of religion. They are the, he really loves me, I'm just not, that was my fault, I'm just good enough. And what this does is it benefits the institution or individual that's in control by tearing down and belittling the other individual. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's just that battered spouses and not battered wives, because evidently there's some guys in that position too.
Yeah, somewhere, yeah. Well, I guess my question then is, well, then why was it like that to begin with? You say, well, it benefits the religion, but man created the religion. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't, from the very beginning, man just be using it as instead of a tool to break himself down, to only then build himself up, to just build himself up in the first place? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because...
well, religion,
I can't...
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, because the Christian faith took many centuries to evolve into what it is right now. I mean, when you... hundreds and hundreds of years, and throughout this entire process, you began to get, it went from just, I guess if we want to go ahead and take for the sake of argument that all this stuff happened, it went from Jesus and his disciples all the way up to now a very big church with its own politics, and then getting, and then all of this comes into play, and then suddenly there are armies that the church supports, and it becomes a big political movement, and this all takes time to develop, so it... something could start out being entirely benign and then get corrupted and then turn into something really horrible that's completely contrary to what it used to be. I saw an editorial cartoon some years ago, back when all of the televangelism money scandals were happening with was it Jim Bakker, Jimmy Swaggart, and this, that, the other, right?
His was sex.
Yeah. Well, it was sex, money, just corruption. Yeah. And what happened was, I think Falwell's group was going to take over Bakker's, when Bakker ended up going to jail. And then Falwell came out and said, I'm disgusted by all this. And so I saw an editorial cartoon at the time that was basically all of these, fat men in business suits, in a big corporate setting, said God Co. on the wall, and and they're all looking at spreadsheets and charts and graphs and what have you, and and on the phones, and there's 20 of them, and then in this corner of the room, like Jesus, looking all meek with his little shepherd staff, walks in, and one of the guys yells at him, says, "How the hell did you get in here?" Right? I mean, it's just sort of something could. So something could start out and be entirely benign, and then just, and then it takes on a political life of its own and becomes bad.
Especially if someone...
and then if there's dogma involved, then that really makes the political reality of it just even more hardcore. It's just, So...
Okay. Well, very interesting insight. I appreciate it. And just real quickly, you guys, I wasn't going to bring it up, mentioned it, the Christian side hug. I couldn't help but notice. And I was wondering if you guys thought that was real.
Yes.
There's one real and one that was a parody of the real one.
The Christian side hug, the original thing was real.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the practice of Christian side hugging, but I assume that you were referring to the
original
kind of
rap song was real at a youth event for a real church.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought might have been the case at first also, but afterwards I saw what I thought were some legitimate interviews. Now, maybe it wasn't. I wasn't sure. Which were saying how it was parody, that it was actually kind of Christians maybe poking fun a little bit at themselves for some kind of...
okay, then they're just as bad at that as they are at discerning reality. I've seen plenty of parodies of their side hug that were side-splittingly funny, but the first one, it did not have the ring of parody, and you don't get up at a megachurch as part of a series of songs and messages for your youth group and say something that you don't mean.
Okay, all right. Well, that's certainly a valid opinion. I would encourage you, though, to at least check it out online.
If I've been duped and it was never legit, I definitely would like to know.
Well, I wouldn't say you were duped, because I think you of all people certainly wouldn't put it past some fundamentalist organizations to have a song like that.
It's one thing. They did it. If they're going to then claim that it's parody, quite frankly, I'm more likely to believe that their claim that it was parody has come because they really finally were shown how stupid it was.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing that I was thinking.
It's like when you say something, somebody goes, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Hey, man, I was just joking.
CYA.
That's what I think is more likely than.
That's certainly very possible. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
in either case, it's funny. I mean, it's funny. Period. That's what matters.
Regardless. All right. Well, I know there are a lot of calls after me, so I appreciate that you guys taking the time.
Sure. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Boy. Oops. Wait a minute. I had it. There we go. Alex in Aberdeen.
Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting to be on so soon.
Oh, well. All right. You need another minute?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Thanks for waiting.
I mainly just wanted to rant about William Lane Craig and how kind of unimpressive I find that he is, and how surprised I am that people don't do better against him. I mean, it kind of seems like all the relatively smart Christians on YouTube actually reference him quite a bit, and I just don't understand it.
Well, one thing is you're getting your information from YouTube.
Are there actually theologians that are held in higher esteem than him by apologists?
By apologists? I don't know. He might be at or near the pinnacle.
I think Plantinga is highly thought of.
Yeah, but he's so cerebral and useless that the average person in the pew is not going to understand what Plantinga has to say. I think Craig is probably one of the most revered. I'm with you. I don't find his arguments or claims particularly impressive, but I haven't seen enough debates with him. And the one problem with debates is that depending on who you talk to, who won, may be a little different.
Well, this is debating. I think is really it's theater. When you get right down to it, it's style points and performance when you get right down to it. And I don't know of any case where a theist and an atheist have debated publicly. And usually what happens, you get the audience files in, and you have atheists on one side of the hall and theists on the other. And everyone pretty much goes out, thinking the same thing they thought and believing whatever they believed when they walked in. Except usually what you get in these cases is the theist, quite often correctly, crowing that he won the debate, simply because a lot of these folks, they're public speakers. Many of them are pastors. They do this for a living. And so you can get up there and sound really quite authoritative while spouting rubbish, and a lot of people will flock to you and be impressed by you.